I wasn't able to hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, just two of us so far?
No, we have 11 participants.
Oh, yes, I can see. Sorry, I'm talking. I'll mute myself.
All right, no worries. Okay. All right, okay, let's get started. Searching my screen. Okay, this is IT and security meetup that happens every month. So this edition is online. We have Okta sponsoring this meetup. We are using Okta's cloud space to record and using their office space. So I wanted to say thank you for helping us. When it happens online, when it happens offline, they normally provide us the venue and the food and drinks. So thank you, Okta. And I'll introduce myself. So I'm Pradeepa. I'm your host today. And I'm a developer advocate at Okta. I used to deal with Auth0 product in Okta, which is the customer identity product. So if you have any questions on implementing B2C products, identity and security, or any questions in general about identity, please reach out to me. I'm a web developer. I'm also a Java. I'm coming from the Java background, and I deal with most of serverless stuff. I love serverless. Don't ask me if you like containers. That's a different question. I'm also an Auth0 ambassador. This is a volunteer program, which we'll talk about it later, and an AWS community builder. If you want to reach out to me via the Twitter and LinkedIn for any questions, anything, just DM or send a message in LinkedIn. We have a code of conduct. Please treat others as how you want it to be treated by others. So that's a simple thing of code of conduct. If you are a victim of any events, please reach out to me, send me a message to this email address, or you can just reach out to me via the Twitter and the LinkedIn, which I provided. I'll take necessary actions. We have a strict code of conduct. Anybody in violation will be removed from the room. I'm running this meetup every month, so obviously I'll run out of speakers. So if you have something interesting to showcase, or think anything about identity and security have implemented in your projects, yeah, feel free to get in touch with me. It can be like as long as a 45-minute workshop. We can have your whole meetup schedule for you, or if it can be like a 20-minute the theoretical session. If you want to give whatever the length, please reach out to me, and then I can cater to one of our meetup sessions. And the Auth0 Ambassador Program, this meetup is hosted by two of the other speakers, Laksh and Hamdan. Both of them are Auth0 ambassadors. So anybody who's interested in sharing to the developer communities, like anything, it doesn't have to be identity and security, but if you want like a blog poster, technical writer, if you speak at the public event about technical stuff, if you think like this is a forum for you, you can apply for this program. You can put a referral email, can reach out to me why you are passionate about it. I can talk to the team and then say how passionate you are, and then you can be an Auth0 ambassador. It has its own perks. You can reach out to this page and then know more about it. I don't want to hog this conversation about ambassador, but we do have like a lot of perks. If you want to run meetup and all the stuff, Auth0 can provide the venue. The other thing is like we have a newsletter. If you want to be in like get latest updates of what is happening, what are the events happening, or any blog posts happening, or anything related new to identity and security, you can sign up to this newsletter, and then you will get monthly once email. Yeah, so that's all about
I'm sorry,
it.
I'm late, but I'm attending another online event, cybersecurity. Also, it's in progress now. I think you should know them.
Yeah, sure. Just drop a message and we can talk about it later. All right. Without further ado, I'll jump on to our first talk, which is about cybersecurity awareness. So prevention is better than fixing. This will be hosted by
You should
our
know them, the identity and security.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Enjoy.
right. I'm
Uh,
paranoid about security, got hacked a couple of times. Yeah.
please
Hello,
mute
Mr. Liu, how are you?
yourself. Please mute
Yeah,
yourself, and then
I
we
read
can.
your profile. You're a solution architect professional.
I'm sorry, I have to mute because we have to get on with the conversation. Please send a message and then we can talk about it later. So our wonderful speaker is Lux, and he's passionate about web development and WordPress enthusiast. He's also an Auth0 ambassador, as I mentioned before. He's a backend engineer at Web Dev Studios, and when he's not working, he loves to read and travel. Without much further ado, I'll hand over the screen to Lux. Stop staring. The floor is all yours, Lux. Muting
Hey,
yourself.
good. Yeah, great. Thanks. Oops. Oh, hi, everyone. Hello. What's that?
It's a bit noisy. I'm going to mute them.
Okay. Okay. So can you all hear me? I'm not reading the messages anyway. Okay, cool. Great. Thanks for joining on a Wednesday afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are. I hope you all doing good. Good to see a lot of people are interested in security, especially developers or key decision makers who are a business owner, blogger, or anyone you are, DevOps expert or whatever. Thank you. Thanks for joining. I'm Lax. I'm a backend engineer at Web Dev Studios. So in this talk, I'm just trying to talk about awareness. It's like technically when you see, you might be the possible like security vulnerabilities and how to fix them, the tools and everything. But this is something that I talk whenever I get a chance maybe in WordCamps, that is WordPress official meetups or other meetups wherever I attend, because we all know that there are simple bugs or like a certain loopholes, or it's a development workflow flaw or something. Like they could have many of these security related issues could have been prevented, right? That's why we want to create awareness, not only among users, but also among the developers, because we think this is already fine. You might be having your own coding standards and you might be doing some other checks even before every commit. So it's like you think my code is good and it works and it passes my test, but sometimes it's not. It's not just about the test. It's not just about your code or your architecture. Sometimes users may have just a weak password, right? And they might be sharing the password with somebody, or they don't change the password at all, or they don't have two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication and things like that. So as a developer, our challenging part is not coding. It's like you can keep up to date with React, Angular, whatever your favorite framework is, whatever your favorite languages and the tools. But I think I always feel like we need to educate our users, whoever it is. Like it can be the CEO of a company, or it can be just an end user. So as a developer, we have a lot of jargon around us. Like we can keep on talking and geek out about the latest tech all the time. And now there is AI, so we'll be keep on talking about it or using it to see. We might be excited about everything, but like when it comes to the awareness, that's where there's a lot of room for improvement. Without further ado, let's get started. Where's my mouse? Oops. Okay. Okay, so first let's see some statistics, because we all like numbers, right? And this numbers will give you some idea of, okay, this guy was earlier talking something and now it makes a little sense. So this is from recent stats, I think 2021, not very old. So you can see I'm a millennial. I think it was, I'm not sure if I'm a millennial yet, but maybe it was like a 90s kid. So you can see even young generation, they like to share passwords and they are victim of cybercrime as well. And they also think like cybersecurity awareness is kind of required at work and everywhere, right? So we think like mostly old generation, like how you call them, like boomers, or like most of our CTOs are in that age, right? They have tons of experience and years of portfolio in their name. But we just think like, oh, maybe that there's the old people and maybe they don't know how to use certain things. And we are young and we know already how to deal with this stuff. But it's not. It's like all age group have this knowledge gap, or sometimes they think like this is not going to affect anything. But that's where they become a victim, or they give a chance to somebody else to get, affected. So this is from CISA US. And then this is another statistics. This is from Accenture. They run, I think, every year cybersecurity resilience report, or I think I have that note in the next slide. So business executives believe about this one, like 78% is a big number, right? So they don't know, they're unsure about when attack will happen. So that's why it's another way of saying that we need to be prepared all the time, because you don't know when that hack will be happened, right? Because we are always into dependency hell. We don't know, even for a simple app, we might be including a lot of packages or libraries, and we don't know which one has a security flaw. It's like the maintainer or the actual person who codes it, they also want it to be secure, but sometimes it happens, right? So that's why we need to be more secure and be aware, and also maybe to automate stuff and schedule the scanning, all that stuff. We'll talk about that later in the talk. And Accenture divides users into 3-4 groups. One of them is a risk taker, and another one is I think they call that as a cyber champion, like someone who's very aware of risk and takes all the precautions. So if you are a risk taker, you're going to spend more. And if you are in the safer side, you're going to spend less. That is 65% less. So this is just an estimation. Maybe it's not may not be 100% accurate number, but you can still see the time, efforts, and also the cost of maybe implementing or maintaining or fixing all those stuff, right? So a risk taker is maybe someone who doesn't even know that kind of a risk exists, or they just ignore things, right? Because they don't know, maybe they don't know that this could be a potential issue. So that's where you come in, like as a developer, can be a developer advocate, ambassador, or just starting out with security, or you are someone who implements security, or you are a consultant. And like I mentioned before, you might be a CTO as well, or any other stuff. So the people who are watching this at the recording, you might be from any other discipline, or your role might be different. But that's where you come in. You know more about security, and you know what could happen, what are the possibilities. So it's our job to create the awareness. And let's see how we can create awareness. So when it comes to awareness, it's like I can put it like in the way of Greek philosophers. It's like the state of being aware, right? So you know that it could happen, you know that it exists. So people know, yeah, I see that some websites get hacked. I see that this web application got hacked. I see somebody lost their money. I hear about this ransomware, or things like that. But I'm talking about users, because you guys are experts, you know what everything it is. So users might be thinking, I hear this all the time, or I know, but it's not going to happen to me. So that's how they think, because they don't know their password manager is not that safe, or the way they handle their passwords or even create is not good enough. Because when you say you use one uppercase letter, they are going to say capital P with password as a password, right? So things like that. So that's how users do, because there are always users find a way to do it wrong, because it's like they are not that educated well. So in other words, users may not be tech savvy as you think, like this grandma, like even my relatives are like that, like my mom and my dad, and they always think when there is just a notification from a bank and they think like there is a security issue or what's happening with the bank, why they send me like this, should I go to the bank, something like that. So certain people get paranoid, certain people like totally ignore stuff, and some people even they just skip all the notifications, they don't read even new emails. And when you say that this kind of meetups, they think like that's for experts, I will not attend something like that. So but it's not. When you go attend anything, you might be hearing the jargons again and again, and but within a few days or weeks, you might be okay, this is called XSS attack, this is called denial of service. So something like that, you might know something, and then you can Google about it, read about it, or watch videos about it and get more knowledge about it. But as a user, they may not be doing that by themselves, but we can do. I know many of you are writing good blog posts or videos, and you can maybe YouTube, Instagram, Facebook Reels, Shorts, whatever format that it is, and reach out to more people. The more awareness that you create, the more the merrier. So memes, like even though we talked about all this, like podcast and everything, that's another way to create attention. Also educate people is through memes, because it's like we live in a meme university era where people get educated more by memes, even if they don't even if they don't understand it fully, at least it becomes a subject of what they can talk. Let's say if somebody doesn't know this series Office, they might be seeing like, this looks like Steve Carell, so what it is, so that at least they will talk about like at least the template of the meme, right? So that's how it gets started, and they will be like, I saw something in Facebook, it's about phishing, what is phishing test or phishing email, something like that. So that's how it works. And then let's see how we can prevent. I'd like to say with the right tools, maybe the security scanners that you use or the bots. And right now you might be using, let's say with JavaScript, you might be using with JavaScript, we have TypeScript, like using stronger types and stuff. So that way you don't have to worry about having a user ID from a string and it gets like, I'm talking about the old days of SQL injection kind of a thing, or let's say that value should not be there and it's there because of weak typing like JavaScript, PHP in the old days. But now we all use strict types and other stuff. So coming back to the right tools. So if you are using the right tools, it comes with like maybe choosing the right hosting where your application or website gets hosted, and using the right tools to scan, and using maybe again the right tools or test your code and all that stuff. Also some security level logging and some scanning as well. And let's go with the scheduled scan. So scanning your entire code base, or at least like GitHub has a Depender bot, and I think every repository now comes with a bot that you can use to scan for your libraries and dependencies. And then also do some maintenance, like have a fixed window in your monthly schedule, so you can go and see like, hey, I'm gonna just check if all of my libraries are in right shape, like is there any security related stuff? Okay, then go and fix it or change that version. It might be, doesn't have to be a major release, it could be a minor or just a security update or security release. And then regular updates of credentials. This is something this is something that you might not be aware of, because like as a developer, we just get password or credential from our, maybe let's our teammate, manager, or somebody, a client, right? But as a client, or let's say a site owner or application owner, they might be hiring you today. Hey, can you take a look at my website? These are my credentials. And maybe they might be doing that to the same another person. Like, hey, they might be hiring a SEO guy, or they might be hiring a designer or somebody else, and they're like, oh, this is my application login details. Can you use it? So they may not aware of it, like having the same, let's say, super admin or administrator role. That user, like that credentials, they might be sharing it with multiple people, right? So we don't know who is going to attack the site or how that information. Let's say I'm a developer and I have like hundreds of credentials with me, and if my account gets hacked, and that those hundreds of credentials are at risk, right? So that way, it's like if you have a website or if you maintain something, if you are a developer, and just tell the client and educate the client to keep updated, like change the credentials. You might be saying like, I think maybe Instagram, or even that. It's a good thing with API keys, right? Every API key comes with the expiry date. Like they're going to say like your keys expire. You might be seeing that with GitHub, Instagram, and other stuff, right? Any API that now it gives you something like update the credential, change your API key, and then automate more. Now with the power of AI, or like there are a lot of automation tools, or you might be a genius by yourself. Just genius may be a strong word, but we can still maybe nerdy, geeky, or what can you say, like ninja. That sounds more nice, right? So you might be having your own scripts, right? As a developer, you could have done with the existing service in 1 hour, but you like to spend 3 weekends, like spending 16, 20 hours build the same script, right? But that gives me as well, like the joy. So you can write your own script or use the existing tools and automate more of your process, like scanning or updating, or you can be even a logger, like you write a script and find is there anything related to security issues. And on the other side, maybe if you are working with databases too, you can take a look. But if you are using something like maybe Auth0 or others as well, it doesn't have to be Auth0. So you can have identity or authentication as a separate service. That's not any more of your headache. Like you just need to worry about the other layers, not maintaining the user details, keys, and all that stuff. So, and then also know when to get help and help others. So it's like most of the time you might be thinking, yeah, I can fix this by myself, or I can avoid this in future. You don't have to spin your wheels. You can just ask in forums, maybe start with your colleagues or forums, or even Facebook groups. Like you can say, hey, I got this vulnerability issue. I'm not sure, it should not be happening in the first place, but I got it, and I got it now second time. So what's the best place to fix? So you can start with some best practices, whatever your skill level is, but still there is always a way to improve. I'm sure you are all students, or learners by heart. Like every developer likes to learn all the time. They like to be updated with the latest tech. Age is just a number in case of developers, right? So you might be keep on learning. So getting help is a way to learn, and also teaching others is another way to remember your stuff and master the craft. So if you know something, like for example, like, hey, this is not the way you should write a let's say it can be a Apache configuration or a Docker config file, whatever it is. So it can be anything. If you see somebody is doing that repeatedly, you can make it as a blog post, or it can be a video, it can be in the podcast or in the talk like this, or anywhere. Just disseminate information, let others know about it, and let them do it in a better way. And I like to stress one more thing on this note. It's like Drek Scott. I think he is the founder of, I'm not sure, Apshuo or something else. So his quote is, what is simple to you may be amazing to others. So you might be thinking like, this is a simple trick. I don't have to write a blog post for this, but that might be, there's a guy who might be spending a week of time just to figure that out. So you don't think anything is simple. You can just maybe answer it in even Stack Overflow, or just make it as a blog post or any form that you like. So share more information, and that will be definitely helping others. And these are some resources like open source, web application security, if I'm not wrong, or I'm not sure. Maybe I usually just go by the abbreviation. So you can, there's, I think, a Singapore group as well, if you are in Singapore, and they have a lot of branches or in all over the world. And you can see there's some best practices. I strongly believe open source is another way of having more eyes to look at. The code will get reviewed by more people, and even if there's a small or big issue, like there will be a lot of people, like you might be getting PRs coming in for the fixes. But if it's a closed source anyway, it's like get more people to look at the code. These are some resources. And if you are a beginner, you can start with what is cybersecurity. But if you are already an expert, you can go with Auth0 has some identity related topics. And if I missed something, let me know. I'm Lax in Twitter, like Lax Mariappan in Twitter. And if you have any questions, let me know. I think we can go with the next talk. But if you have any questions, let me know in the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. It's like, I'm lucky I got the Lax Mariappan, my name on all social media. And thanks. Hand over to Pradeepa. Thanks.
Thank you so much. That was an inspiring talk. Anybody just don't assume that only the non-tech savvy people have do the vulnerability. It's very common, like we use the same password, we store it, we write it, and it all happens. So make sure don't fall into prey for all those stuff. Thank you for the talk, and get help is the wonderful message. For anything technical, reach out to the experts, our speakers, or any of us. We are ready to help. So yeah, reach out to any of us. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. We can take the next talk and then we can consolidate the questions and take it later. If you want to know more about cybersecurity, or you want to more know about how to get started, you want to assess your career on cybersecurity, reach out to any questions. No questions is a stupid question. That's my motto. So it's like, if you want career guidance, or you want to know about what is cybersecurity, how to get started, how to switch your career, or is cybersecurity is a thing for me, reach out to any of the questions. Feel free to put in the chat. We'll go for the next talk, and give me a minute. I'll introduce our next speaker. Hope you guys can see my screen. Yeah. So the next talk is going to be beyond passwords. All we know is like passwords are the problems. So we are going to another strategy of strengthening the security with anti-proofing, and then solve the problem of passwords. This talk will be by another wonderful Auth0 ambassador, Hamdan Ali. He is a public speaker, a technical writer. He is also Postman student leader and AWS community builder. Currently is an intern at Atsign. Without further ado, I'll hand over the screen to him, and he can get started. Hamdan, the floor is all yours.
Yeah. Allow me to share my screen. All right. Hey folks, I am Hamdan Ali. I am an Auth0 ambassador where I talk about identity security and authentication. I am also a Postman student leader where I spread awareness on API literacy. I have also been a Smarty Hackathon winner where identity proofing was the crux of our product. So we made this software solution for identity proofing of Manrega daily wage workers. We had to track attendance and track whether or not that worker was showing up. Next, in this past previous months, I've been developing Always Paid, which is a credit lending business. I've been an intern there. These guys also got selected for Y Combinator, by the way, so maybe that's big. Again, this app is available on Play Store. It's called Always Paid. Go check these guys out and show some love. Our demo project for today would be Always Paid, where I built an in-house identity proofing solution. So, and then I'll show how can we automate that process to make it easier for the business logic. So the developers can focus on their business logic and keep authentication off their shoulders. So Auth0 can probably take care of that. I am currently as an SWE intern at the Atsign company, where we provide SDKs for end-to-end encryption on mobile apps and IoT devices. So yeah, that's it. Without wasting any time, let's jump on to the agenda for today. I will quickly rub through what identity proofing is, and then we'll see how that differs from authentication. Next, we'll see why identity proofing is such a necessity, and then we'll see a live demonstration, a live project. Okay, So what is identity proofing? Identity proofing is the process of verifying and validating individuals' identity so that to ensure they are who they claim to be. It involves collecting various and verifying types of data for personal information, such as documentations, to establish a person's identity and a certain level of confidence. Now, identity proofing can typically involve gathering personal information such as name or date of birth or address or any government issued identity cards, such as Aadhaar in India or the social security number or a passport or a driving license. Yeah, that works too. Now, these information are then run through some known evidences, some known established attributes, and or some knowledge-based authentication, such as answering security-based questions or personal history records. That works as well. Now, let's see how that differs from authentication. How is authentication different? Well, authentication is the process of verifying that an individual is who they claim to be while attempting to access a resource or a service. Authentication can be achieved via methods such as password-based authentications or biometrics or security tokens. The goal over here is to ensure that only authorized individuals are granted access to protected resources. Identity proofing, on the other hand, is the process of verifying an individual's identity using a variety of methods such as presenting government-issued identity cards or answering personal questions or providing biometric information. The goal over here is to establish a high level of confidence that the person is who they are claiming to be. Now, identity proofing is the process of verifying individual identity before authentication can occur. Now, based on your business logic, you can place identity proofing at any flow of your authentication, such as in our Always Paid app, we wanted to give users a trial of a taste of what they're signing up for. So we place identity proofing after authentication, but generally that's the reserved norm. Also in Auth0, you have something called close, where you can maintain at what level do you want the user to verify their identity. That's something really helpful for developers who want a quick solution so that they can focus on their core business. Now, identity proofing requires some prerequisites for authentication, without which it is impossible to know who is authenticating, who is trying to access that resource. Okay. That being said, let's see why do we need identity proofing? Some of the very common issues that the identity proofing can tackle are on your screen. I'll start with preventing fraud. So identity proofing is a critical step for preventing fraud. It's very obvious because it verifies the identity of the individual before giving them access to sensitive information or resources. By implementing identity proofing measures, organizations can authenticate the identity of users and ensure that they are who they are claiming to be. This now helps prevent fraudulent activities such as identity theft or account takeovers or unauthorized access. By confirming the legitimacy of an individual's identity, organizations can minimize the risk of fraudulent transactions, protect users' accounts, and safeguard sensitive data. Next up, many countries have compliance and regulatory requirements. I'm sure you have heard about them. So identity proofing is often a regulatory requirement to ensure compliance with laws or regulations related to identity verification. Regulatory bodies such as any financial institutions or government agencies or online service providers are often obligated to implement robust identity proofing measures as a part of their KYC, which is Know Your Customers, or AML, which is anti-money laundering programs. Now, these regulations aim at preventing money laundering, terrorist financing, and other illicit activities by establishing a strong framework of verifying the user's identity of a customers or users. Now, by implementing identity proofing measures, organizations can demonstrate compliance with these regulations and mitigate legal and financial risks associated with non-compliance. So more often, companies want to be on the safe side with the government, so they have to, as a part of the regulation or compliance, integrate identity proofing, and that's a business requirement. Next is protecting sensitive information, where identity proofing plays a crucial role by ensuring that only authorized individuals have access to it. By verifying identity of users, organizations can establish a trust and confidence in the user's base. This helps prevent unauthorized access to sensitive data, whether it's personal information, financial records, or proprietary business data. Robust identity proofing measures such as multi-factor authentication or biometric authentication or knowledge-based authentication add layers of security, which is more often required, and as one legitimate users can own that own and ensures that only legitimate users can access sensitive information. By implementing these effective measures, organizations can significantly reduce the risk of data breach, unauthorized accesses, or other security incidents, which are more often in the news. Okay, next is enhanced user experience. This is very less thought of, but yeah, that's very important while thinking of whether or not identity proofing is something that suits your business requirement. Because identity proofing can enhance the user experience by making the login process smoother and more secure, leading to greater user trust and satisfaction. Traditional username and passwords-based authentication methods can be cumbersome and prone to security risks, such as weak passwords or password reuse. That's very common, like Pradeepa just mentioned. We all reuse our passwords today. So by implementing identity proofing measures, such as biometric authentication or security identity tokens, or organizations can streamline the login process by maintaining a high level of security. This will not only improve the overall experience of the user, but also reduce friction associated with complex password management, and also instill a high level of confidence that the user's account and information is being well protected. A smooth and secure login process through identity proofing can also lead to increased user engagement, loyalty, and positive brand perception. Now, that being said, it's very important to realize or decide whether your business requirement needs identity proofing. If you have something called a DMAC account, if that's integrated in your application or your business logic, you are making use of university ID, or if you're making use of KYC requirements, there's some KYC requirement in your business logic, your app. Identity proofing is probably the best way to go. Okay. Next up, we have a live demonstration. So I'll quickly jump over to this code. This is always paid. It's available on Google Play Store, by the way. So over here, we are on the post authentication screen. So we have authenticated the user. The user is on the home page. But before the user can make a bank transfer, because it's a credit-based service, it's a credit lending service. So we need to be very sure about the user's identity and indeed who they are claiming to be. So we have an in-house identity proofing mechanism where you can see this: verify your identity. After you verify your identity, transfer to bank account or scan to pay UPI or available credits are increased. Much of the features are unlocked post identity proofing of the user is done. Until then, user can quickly see what features they are signing up for. So that's a good skill. Okay. So I'm collecting the PAN card information. That's an image. And I've committed this part out. We're using Firebase. I do not want to send some request to a production app right now. So once the PAN card has been uploaded, I'm sending it to Firebase, after which we can do a manual verification, similar for the front of Aadhaar card and back of Aadhaar card. We're also collecting some IFSC codes and bank information that is often required by transferring amount. So that is also a part of our identity proofing measure. And we are capturing live feed, a live capture. So if we switch to identity proofing, verify your identity, I get an option to verify myself. So I am clicking this thing. I have to upload my live capture. Live captures are often a good way to know that the user is not mocking a face or mocking a fingerprint as compared to fingerprints input. So once I click upload, that has been uploaded to the Firebase app. Now I see a few other parameters. We can upload our PAN card information or front of Aadhaar card that's required. And if you do not, it will just prompt you to complete the mandatory process. So once you have selected those information, I'm uploading a demo doc for now. Next up, we have the account number. So let me enter something. So quick reference. Okay, and that is done. Once I click on upload, all the necessary requirements, all the necessary documents that we are collecting for identity proofing of the user, of our users, have been sent to Firebase. So we manually verify them as of now. It's in an MVP phase. The app is in an MVP phase, so it does not have a very huge user base. But what if your user base is huge? Now, that is where Auth0 comes in. Auth0 has in-house identity proofing mechanism. So over here, you have Auth0 actions and Auth0 flows. With actions, you can add other libraries or other units to your authentication flow. So one very one of the favorites that I have is Perfect Verify. We use this in our SIH application, that Manrega workers, where we verified Manrega workers, and it kind of streamlines the process. It automates the process for you. So once you are there, there are some keys to set up, and you'll be good to go. You'll add this integration, and in your flows, you simply drag and drop whatever your integrations are and place them according to your requirements. So you want integration first, you want identity proofing first, Auth0 has you covered. And that's scalable. Remember, that's kind of the steal deal for me. If it's scalable, it's going to stay for a very long time. Okay. Now, that being said, that brings me to the end of my talk. If you have any questions, now is a good time. In the meantime, let's connect. So if you have any questions, now is a good time. I'm not sure if I can see the chat box. Yeah. So I can see the chat box then.
Yeah, I think it's a personalized question, like someone's identity is compromised. So I would say, like, rather connect with Hamdan in private and then see if he has any thing, because we cannot just go by case. But if you have something in general about how to protect your identity, like your Aadhaar or PAN card, feel free to drop. But for this specific use case, I don't want this identity to be compromised to other participants as well. So, this session will be recorded and will be uploaded to our Octa Dev channel. So I would say, Sinan, just get in touch with Hamdan and see if he can help you. But in general, if you have any questions about protecting your identity and Aadhaar, Hamdan, share your 2 cents.
Cool. Yeah, that is something I should have taken care of. This is private information. Do hit me up if you want to connect me on a LinkedIn or Twitter. Yeah, sure. I think that's it for now. If you guys haven't connected right now, scan this QR. I am about to end my talk, so I will stop sharing right now. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good time.
Hamdan, we have one question
Over to you,
from
Pratik.
Sebastian. We have one question from Sebastian C. The question is like, would MFA be categorized as authentication or identity proofing?
Sebastian, what's MFA for? Multi-factor auth. Correct. So multi-factor auth is an authentication itself. That is, yeah, that's not a part of identity proofing for sure, because for identity proofing, you are generally collecting information and rubbing it against a set of known information, such as your Aadhaar card information is known, your PAN card information is known. That's a known directory that has been verified already, and we're rubbing it against a known directory. So multi-factor auth is kind of authentication. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So if you have any questions in general, if you can unmute yourself and ask. We have reached the end of this session. The question can be to Lax or Hamdan, anything about anti and security, you can ask me as well. Feel free to unmute. And if you would like to stay for another 15 minutes, it's happy. If someone wanted to leave after the session, it's totally fine. I'm just going to share the screen to do some last minute inventory. So this Okta Developer Day Anti Conference, it happened last week. Though it happened like a virtual first conference. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but we had a lot of content available regarding anti, how to create verifiable credentials and stuff. The theme is taking control of the identity. We had workshops and stuff. So I just wanted to bring it to our audience in APAC and want to see, like, go to developerday.com and then look for the past sessions. We have 2 sessions, it happened 2 days. One is like focused on Okta, the product, which is a workforce identity product. And the other one is the Auth0 product, which talks about B2C identity stuff. So if you're interested and want to know more about it, you can have a look at it in the recordings. And I think that's all I have. Feel free to unmute yourself and then say, you can stay for networking maybe a couple of minutes and ask any questions. But we have reached the end of the session. I'm going to stop recording. And let's see.
I have a question for